Howdy, Redesert Boy here. Hey, I've noticed a lot of people still like to go and look at the video that I did on this Model 733, H&R Model 733, and Smith & Wesson Long. I think one of the videos, did a couple videos, one of them I might have called it the original, maybe one of the original Saturday night specials. And this is in 32 caliber Smith & Wesson Long. And while we're looking at it, let's take a look and we'll see this one here. You pull the pin to the extractor pin to open it up, and we'll show that it's empty. It's in a brushed nickel finish, on the outside, and it's a single action, double action. It's as we showed when we had that open. I can show you that again. It has 6 rounds instead of 5. That's kind of a nice thing. It's got about a 2.5 inch barrel, about 6.5 inches overall, maybe 4 3/8 high, maybe about an inch and, inch and a half, inch and 3/8 wide. It doesn't have really a weight on these. It's hard to find. This one, from what I could tell from the serial numbers, was made about 1988, so it's about 25 ounces, I would guess. But let's do a little comparison with, now that I have the Smith & Wesson third model hand ejector. Now, these were made from 1917 to 1942. I figure this one's from about 1940. It also has a it has the more traditional cylinder release, and we can see here that it's empty, and also that it's 6 rounds, not 5. And like the other one, they both have fixed sights, right? I think we can see those are both fixed sights. They got different sight pictures. This one here is about 7.5 inches long. It's supposed to be about 18 ounces. I think it's probably about 20. It's about 4 inches high, and it's maybe about an inch and 3/8 wide. It's a little narrower. But hard rubber grips. These here have plastic. And nice guns. A little heavier than what we think of for, compact revolvers. This caliber was very popular in the early 20th century. Not only did private citizens carry these for protection, but law enforcement carried 32 Smith & Wesson Long. And it's generally a 98 to probably a 100 grain bullet that's in there. This one here, as you can see, it's got a little bit shorter length. If you look at them, between the trigger guard and the handle, this one's got a little bit smaller grips. Why would somebody want something like this? Well, maybe they have a hard time racking the slide or whatever. Maybe a 38 special is just too much, recoil for them. People say, well, you get a 22 Magnum like my 351 PD with 7 rounds. That's true, but it is rimfire. And some people feel like that center fire, right? This happens to be a 32 Smith & Wesson Long full metal jacket. And if we were to compare a couple of hollow points, this is a 38 Special XTP bullet, 125 grain. This is a 32 Smith & Wesson Long. It's 98 grain. It's a type of hollow point. And then they also make, lead round nose. These are 98 grain. And then they make what we call full Wadcutters. These are 100 grain. And a lot of people feel like that the lead round nose or the Wadcutters are very effective for lower muzzle velocity revolvers because they get penetration, and they also have enough mass to be an effective self-defense tool. You have to make your own decisions. Remember, I'm a hobbyist and enthusiast. This is what works for me. Would I consider carrying this as a primary carry? Maybe in certain circumstances where I wanted a smaller weapon or something like that. One thing about them, when I take these to the range, they're, because of the mild recoil, they're fairly accurate. They're not made to be real long distance shooters. I mean, obviously they're for more up close and personal. But if, recoil is an issue, this can be something to possibly consider. Now, this is a revolver. I figure this one's from about 1940, so you're going to stake your life on 1940 gun that you feel like is going to be reliable for you. I'm willing to do that for me, but that, you have to make your own decisions when it comes to that, And this one here is from 1988, which it's not real new either. So just things to think about, That's why a lot of people would maybe rather go down and get them a 32 caliber Tomcat or something, and 32 ACP, because it's you can get a new gun. These here, you can always take them to a gunsmith, have them look them over, if that's what you want to do. I'm sharing my own thoughts and opinions. This is what works for me. So, as you can see, they do make speed strips for these, which is kind of handy. You can put those in there. I've tried using full Wadcutters in speed loaders. They really don't work well because it's kind of like there's nothing to line up with the cylinder. Haven't really tried them yet. Maybe when we go to the range next time we will. Regular rounds that have a rounded nose, they kind of tend to go into the cylinder holes a little easier. But anyway, that's just something I'm just sharing with you. Let's look at them a little closer again together. So let's look at them. As you can see, yes, the Smith & Wesson is longer. The other one is a little bulkier, I think, in the frame. Some of you might like the more classic look. Some of you might kind of like the kind of small Saturday night special kind of look of the H&R. And it's a pretty finish on there. There's no doubt about that. Triggers on them, we'll go to the range, but I'd say the trigger on the H&R is a little heavier. It breaks a little differently. It's Smith & Wesson, but they both have single action ability, and they both have very reasonable single action trigger pulls to them. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Maybe get a chance for you to kind of look at these guys. I took some pictures so you could kind of look at them comparison-wise. This works really well for somebody with smaller hands. And the way the trigger pull is, the distance from the trigger, it's a little more distance. It's a little easier, I think, for some people to pull that than the H&R, but that's just my opinion. Really nice looking guns. Got some really nice engraving on them. This one here's got a little bit more wear. It's not in the best shape, but it shoots fine. Very accurate. And this one's in a little better shape, but this one I paid a lot more for, I will tell you, than I paid for this one, So you got to really go out there and do your homework on that. So some good videos online of people that do some, look at the ballistics and the velocity and the stopping power, of 32 Smith & Wesson Long, and it'd be something to think about if you want to go online and look at some of those out there on YouTube or other resources, or talk to your own friends and experts. Like I said, 38 special may be too much for some people. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I personally like this caliber, and like I said, I would consider carrying it, maybe as a primary carry, but it'd have to be a special circumstance for that. But I just enjoy, it's better than maybe having a rimfire in some cases. So you have to make your own decision. So as Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. Bye now.